Hey guys, what's up? I'm here with a review of a Canadian vampire fantasy horror film from the year 2000, and tonight's movie is Ginger Snaps. This is one of those ones that I always heard about. I wasn't really interested in seeing it. I just saw it every once in a while, like when I was looking through video stores or looking on Netflix. And I really didn't pay any attention. It didn't really catch my eye at all. And I figured that now that I've grown up a bit, I would give this one a chance, see if I either made a mistake by not watching it when I was younger, or by not watching it earlier, that is, or if I should have avoided this movie like the plague. This movie has to do with two sisters and their outcasts at their high school and their neighborhood, and they're both obsessed with death, and they must deal with kind of the hardships that come along with one of them being bitten by a werewolf. This sounds pretty good. So without further ado, let's just watch. So the movie starts out with a woman raking leaves while her young child is playing in a sandbox, and then he finds the ripped off paw of his pet dog. Needless to say, they find the rest of the dog. One of the sisters walks out of the garage as the mother comes out crying, and then they both talk about you think that they're both talking about, like how they're gonna kill themselves, like how they're gonna make these people regret treating them badly. And then you realize that they're actually coming up with like horrible ways of dying so that they can make fake pictures of themselves dead in those ways and present them to the class as a presentation. That's really cool. It's an awesome element to the film. It really adds something. I don't know what, but it adds something cool to the movie. And honestly, I just love it. I just love the idea. I just love that. It seems like something I would probably do. The two sisters are your average, late 90s, early 2000s kind of angsty teenagers, and as someone who was once an extremely angsty teenager, I can definitely relate to them. Although I look back at my angsty teenager days and I kind of cringe a bit. So, the acting in this movie is all around really, really good. I'll be honest, I did not expect the acting to be that good. The only other film I had seen Catherine Isabelle in is American Mary, and her acting in American Mary was also, her acting in American Mary was pretty good as well, but it's just as good here. Excuse me. It's 4:20, and I'm yawning. So, yeah. The writing here is also really, really solid, really good, and it's even a little clever and comedic at times. And even the title was really clever, because I didn't realize this at first. It took me a few minutes to realize. The one sister who gets bitten by the werewolf is named Ginger. And the movie's called Ginger Snaps, as in Ginger Snaps the cookies, as well as Ginger Snaps as in Ginger, like, mentally snapping and losing her mind, and or becoming a werewolf. So that's actually a really, really cool title. I didn't get it at first. So, yeah, the characters here are all likable and relatable. That is, if you at one time were an angsty teenager, and you could probably relate to it a little bit. The creature effects here are really good, along with the gore effects. The camera work and lighting are average, which, I'm not gonna complain. They're average. They're still good. They're not, extremely horrible. It's not some of the worst camera work I've ever seen. Most definitely it is not. The sound mix in this movie is also really nice, and the music is also very, very good. It's really creepy and intense and ominous, and It kind of has that like late 90s, early 2000s horror feel. And now I'm going to compare it to another movie, The Faculty. I would say if you've seen The Faculty and you like The Faculty, you would probably like this movie. They're very similar in ways. They're both horror films. They're both about angsty teenagers, and they were both from the 90s. Well, this wasn't from the 90s, but I'm sure that this movie was filmed in the late 90s, so I can still count it. I just get a very eerie, the same kind of eerie feeling that I get watching The Faculty that I get watching this. Although I'll be honest, I mean, at the end of this review, I'm gonna give Ginger Snaps a higher rating than The Faculty, but I still a little bit prefer The Faculty. I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying I like it a little bit more. I might have to rewatch The Faculty and fully decide, but I mean, honestly, they're almost even in my book. It's original, it's gory, it's pretty awesome, and it's probably one of my new favorite werewolf movies. But then again, I'm not a super big werewolf movie fan. I mean, I haven't even seen American Werewolf in London. Out of all these movies I've seen, out of all these movies I own, I haven't seen American Werewolf in London. Yeah, that's kind of sad, isn't it? I mean, I've seen The Howling, and The Howling is pretty. The Howling's pretty awesome. But honestly, I prefer Ginger Snaps over The Howling, definitely. On the gore meter from 1 to 10, 1 being something like Nosferatu and 10 being something like Brain Dead, Ginger Snaps is about a 6. I'll be honest, it was way more violent than I expected it to be. I mean, it's not balls to the wall gore, in your face violence, but there's something about it. It's just like, there are, like, if you do not like movies where dogs die, do not watch this movie, because there's at least, I want to say, maybe at a minimum, as far as I remember, of like 3 dead dogs in this movie. And yeah, about 3, and only, I mean, 2 out of the 3 you actually see, but still, that's 3 dogs out of, I mean, that's like 2 dogs out of 3. That's just, I mean, it's still, I mean, for people that are like, oh no, dogs dying, it's so horrible. I mean, I don't really see the big deal about it, honestly, and I absolutely love dogs. I don't really see the big deal, but that might turn some people off on this movie. I mean, I can't say I understand, but I can say whatever. It's kind of a body horror film. Kind of. I don't want to full-on say it's a body horror film. It's definitely a lot more of a werewolf movie. Then again, it falls under the werewolf genre. So, yeah. It's really, really awesome, and I really, yeah, I'm gonna have to pick up the Scream Factory Blu-ray release of this movie, because yeah, it deserves the money. It definitely does. So anyway, guys, if you liked the video, like my channel, be sure to like this video, favorite it, whatever you want, and maybe subscribe perhaps. I would really, really appreciate that. And check the links in the description below. There are links to things like my Tumblr, Twitter, all that, Facebook. All that is in the description below, as well as Rotten Cotton t-shirts, where I get my horror film t-shirts like this I Drink Your Blood t-shirt I'm wearing right now. This is available on their site for like 15 bucks. It's a pretty good deal if you buy like 6 or 7 shirts, and you get it, and if they're like under 20 bucks, you can buy them all together as a package, and you get it for like 70 bucks, and it's a really, really good deal. It's where I get my horror film t-shirts. And be sure to check out my friend Chloe, her cosplay and makeup tutorial channel. It is in the description. She always does something really interesting, really cool. And I guess that's it. I'm signing off. You guys have a good day, good night, good whatever. Peace.